It's 11:47 p.m. Your phone lights up. Her name appears on your screen. Your heart skips a beat because deep down, you know, messages after 11 p.m. hit different. But here's what most guys don't realize. Late-night behavior reveals everything. When the world gets quiet and distractions fade away, that's when the truth comes out. That's when she shows you what's really on her mind. Tonight, I'm breaking down the 5 things women do after 11 p.m. that prove, without a doubt, you're living in her thoughts. These aren't just random late-night habits. These are psychological tells that reveal she's genuinely interested in you. Pay attention to these signs because they're the most honest indicators of attraction you'll ever see. Let's dive in. 1. She sends you random thoughts and memories. When a woman sends you random texts after 11 p.m. about things that reminded her of you, that's not coincidence. That's you living rent-free in her head. Picture this. It's midnight. She's scrolling through her phone or just lying in bed, and suddenly something triggers a memory of you. Maybe it's a song that came on, a funny video she saw, or just a random thought that connected back to a conversation you had. Instead of keeping it to herself, she feels compelled to share it with you. I remember this woman I was seeing who would text me at like 11:30 p.m. with messages like, "Just heard that band you mentioned on the radio and thought of you," or "Saw this meme that's so your sense of humor." At first I thought she was just being friendly, but then I realized, out of all the people in her contacts, she chose to share these moments with me. This behavior reveals something profound about how her mind works. During the day, we're all busy, distracted, running from one thing to another. But late at night, when the noise dies down, our thoughts become more focused. And if you're consistently showing up in those quiet, unfiltered moments, that means you've made a real impression. The psychology behind this is fascinating. When someone shares random memories or thoughts with you, they're essentially saying, "You matter enough to me that I want to include you in my mental world." They're creating connections between their daily experiences and you. These messages often come with phrases like, "This made me think of you," or "Remember when we talked about." They're not asking for anything specific. They're not trying to make plans. They're just creating touch points of connection. What makes this even more significant is the timing. She could save these thoughts for the next day, mention them in a regular conversation, or not share them at all. But she chooses to reach out in that moment, breaking the late-night silence to connect with you. Pay attention to the content too. Is she sharing inside jokes, referencing conversations you had, sending you content that aligns with your interests or sense of humor? This shows she's been paying attention to who you are, storing details about your personality and preferences. 2. She responds to your stories and posts immediately. Here's something most guys overlook. When a woman is thinking about you, she's tuned into your digital presence. She's not just passively seeing your content, she's actively waiting for it. You post a story at 11:15 p.m., and within minutes, sometimes seconds, she's viewed it, liked it, or responded to it. This isn't just good timing. This is someone who's alert to your online activity because you're on her mind. Think about your own social media behavior. How often do you immediately respond to content from someone you're not interested in? Probably not very often. We usually scroll, maybe give it a casual like hours later, and move on. But when someone matters to us, when they're occupying our thoughts, we pay attention differently. I noticed this pattern with a woman I was dating. Every time I posted something late at night, a photo, a story, even just a random thought, she was always among the first to engage. Not just a like, but meaningful responses. Comments that showed she was really paying attention to what I was sharing. Late-night social media engagement is particularly telling because it's when people are most themselves. The filters come down, the professional facade drops and authentic reactions emerge. If she's consistently engaging with your content after 11 p.m., she's showing you a version of herself that's more honest and unguarded. This behavior also reveals something about her priorities. Late at night, when most people are winding down, watching Netflix, or getting ready for bed, she's still thinking about you enough to engage with your content. She's choosing to spend her quiet personal time connecting with you digitally. 3. She starts deep personal conversations. When the clock strikes 11 p.m. and suddenly she's texting you about her dreams, fears, childhood memories, or philosophical thoughts, that's not random. That's her mind-seeking connection with someone who matters to her. Late-night conversations hit differently because that's when our emotional guards are down. The daylight brings professionalism, small talk, and surface-level interactions. But nighttime, that's when the real conversations happen. I've experienced this countless times. A woman I'm interested in will text me around 11:30 p.m., not with, "Hey, what's up?" but with something like, "Do you ever feel like you're not living up to your potential?" Or, "I was thinking about what you said about taking risks, and it's been on my mind all day." These aren't casual check-ins. These are invitations into deeper emotional territory. The timing matters because late at night, we're more reflective. The business of the day is done, the distractions have faded, and we're left with our thoughts. If she's choosing to share those reflective moments with you, it means you occupy a special place in her mental and emotional landscape. Think about it from her perspective. She could be doing anything at 11 p.m., watching TV, scrolling social media, going to sleep. Instead, she's choosing to have meaningful conversations with you. She's using her personal, quiet time to connect with you on a deeper level. These conversations often reveal things she wouldn't share in daylight hours. Her insecurities about work, her complicated relationship with her family, her dreams for the future, her past experiences that shaped her. This level of vulnerability requires trust and genuine interest. 4. She calls or voice messages instead of texting. When a woman switches from texting to calling or sending voice messages after 11 p.m., you're witnessing something special. She wants to hear your voice. She wants you to hear hers. She's craving a more intimate connection that words on a screen can't provide. Voice is incredibly personal. It carries emotion, tone, vulnerability in ways that text never can. When she chooses to call you or send voice messages late at night, she's choosing intimacy over convenience. I'll never forget the first time this woman I was seeing called me at 11:45 p.m. We'd been texting back and forth, having a good conversation, and suddenly my phone rang. "I just wanted to hear your voice," she said simply. That one moment shifted everything between us. There's something magical about late-night phone calls. The world is quiet, distractions are minimal, and you have each other's full attention. Your voices become the only sounds cutting through the silence, creating a bubble of intimacy that feels almost sacred. Voice messages are equally revealing. She's choosing to record her actual voice with all its natural inflections and emotions, rather than typing out carefully edited text. She's letting you hear her laugh genuinely, hear the sleepiness in her voice, hear the excitement when she's talking about something she's passionate about. The timing amplifies the significance. Calling or voice messaging someone after 11 p.m. requires a different level of comfort and interest. It's more intrusive than texting. You're literally interrupting whatever they might be doing with the sound of your voice. She has to feel confident that you want to hear from her. Think about your own phone behavior. How many people do you actually call after 11 p.m.? Probably not many. We reserve late-night calls for people who really matter to us: family, close friends, romantic interests. If she's calling you during those hours, you're in that inner circle. These conversations often feel different too. Her voice might be softer, more intimate. She might share things she wouldn't text. The real-time nature of voice conversation creates opportunities for spontaneous laughter, comfortable silences, and authentic emotional moments. I remember receiving voice messages from this woman who would record herself cooking, or walking her dog, or just lying in bed thinking. She'd narrate her thoughts, ask me questions, and genuinely want to hear my voice in response. It felt like she was inviting me into her real-time experience of life. Pay attention to what prompts these voice communications. Is she calling after you've been texting for a while, as if she wants to deepen the connection? Is she sending voice messages about topics that feel too personal or complex for text? Is she calling just because she misses the sound of your voice? If she's consistently choosing voice over text for your late-night communications, she's telling you that she wants a deeper, more intimate connection with you. She wants to share not just her thoughts, but her actual presence with you, even when you're apart. 5. She finds excuses to extend the conversation. This is perhaps the strongest indicator that you're occupying her thoughts, when it's past midnight and she keeps finding reasons to keep talking to you. The conversation should naturally be winding down, but she keeps reviving it, finding new topics, asking more questions. Most people, when they're tired and it's getting late, start giving shorter responses, saying things like, "I should probably get to sleep soon." But when a woman is genuinely into you, she fights against that natural urge to end the conversation. She wants to milk every moment of connection she can get. I've experienced this so many times. The conversation will naturally hit a pause point around 11:30 p.m., and instead of saying goodnight, she'll suddenly bring up a new topic. "Oh, that reminds me." Or, "Can I ask you something?" Or, "I forgot to tell you about." She's literally creating reasons to keep you engaged. Sometimes she'll even explicitly acknowledge what she's doing. "I know it's late, but..." Or, "Just one more thing." Or, "I should let you sleep, but I wanted to tell you." She's aware that she's extending the conversation beyond normal boundaries, but her desire to keep talking to you overrides social conventions. Pay attention to how invested she becomes in these extended conversations. Is she asking detailed follow-up questions? Is she sharing more personal stories as the night goes on? Is she becoming more flirtatious or vulnerable as the hours pass? Deep conversations late at night often intensify as they continue. I remember one woman who would consistently turn good night into another hour of conversation. She'd say, "I should sleep," but then ask about my family, or share a childhood memory, or bring up a philosophical question. It was clear she was reluctant to break the connection we had in those moments. The effort required to maintain these extended conversations is significant. She's fighting against tiredness, against the natural urge to sleep, against the practical knowledge that she has responsibilities the next day. She's prioritizing connection with you over her own physical needs. These marathon conversations also create a sense of intimacy and exclusivity. While the rest of the world sleeps, you two are in your own private bubble, sharing thoughts and creating memories. There's something romantic and special about being each other's choice for how to spend those late, quiet hours. If she consistently finds ways to extend your conversations well past midnight, if she seems reluctant to say goodnight, if she keeps introducing new topics just to keep you talking, she's showing you that connection with you is worth more to her than sleep, comfort, or practical considerations. And that kind of priority placement only happens when someone is genuinely deeply interested in you. So there you have it, the 5 undeniable signs that you're living in her thoughts after 11 p.m. Random messages, immediate responses, deep conversations, voice communications, and extending conversations way past when they should naturally end. Here's the thing about late-night behavior. It's honest. When the distractions fade and the world gets quiet, that's when authentic feelings surface. If she's consistently doing these things after 11 p.m., she's not just being friendly, she's genuinely invested in you. Remember that story I mentioned at the beginning? That 11:47 p.m. text that changed everything? It was a voice message of her singing along to a song on the radio that reminded her of something I said weeks earlier. In that moment, I realized I wasn't just in her phone. I was in her thoughts, her memories, her daily experiences. Pay attention to these signs because they're rare. Most people don't invest their late-night energy in someone they're not serious about. If she's doing these things, you matter to her in a way that goes beyond casual interest. Drop a comment below. Have you experienced any of these signs? What late-night behaviors have you noticed that let you know someone was really thinking about you? Hit that subscribe button if this opened your eyes to the psychology of late-night communication. And remember, when someone chooses to spend their quiet, personal hours connecting with you, that's not just attention. That's genuine care. Until next time, pay attention to those after 11 p.m. moments. They reveal everything.